Oh my goodness sakes, somebody is happy to see us. It, it is a nice wintry day here and it's starting to snow, and we thought, hey, this would be a great time to talk about how we're actually winterizing our coop. 'Tis the season, I guess. And the first thing that we'll say is the coop orientation. We built this from scratch, so it's obviously easier to do this, but if you're assembling a coop or thinking about building a coop or even getting an off-the-shelf coop, think about orienting it into your landscape. This whole panel right now is facing east, which means the opposite is facing west. This is south, and then this is pointing north. Where we are in the Northeast in New York, we get usually cold northwesterly winds. Sometimes we get northeasters that are cold, but it's really the north. So you'll notice on this side, we have no windows that are opened. You could open on the south side, you could open on the east, and you could open on the west. And we chose that this was going to be completely without windows so that we could protect from cold in the winter months. Down the line, and this is the future, we're thinking of actually even building another building off of this. So it'll be almost like a duplex. So you know, if you're in a duplex and you share the walls with one another, then you'll actually have more heat. That building will be heated as well, so that would share some of the heat over into this building. So orientation was a really important thing, especially with the windows, because typically we would only open the east side and the south side windows in the winter so that you actually have some cross breeze. And then obviously the north side is closed, and if we want a bit more airflow, then we'll open up the western side of the window as well. But let's go into the roost area because I think that's probably where all the girls are. Hello?
Yeah, show the chickens.
And boy.
What chicken is that?
Forget that Faro is a boy. Hello. Now you can see that they are just comfortable in here. And part of the reason is because this is insulated. So that's another thing that I want to actually discuss, is that we chose to insulate our coop. We actually had some leftover EPS foam, and then we used some rock wool as well, which is called Roxol, and we insulated the entire walls of this coop.
And ceiling.
And ceiling, actually, because that's where you lose a lot of the heat is.
And you can see this is still open.
Yes.
The walls are about 4.5 inches thick.
Now, of course, we have just poly panels on the windows, and that doesn't provide any U value or R value or anything along those lines.
Yeah, it's insulated, but it's not heated.
Exactly.
And that's important.
Yes, and the thing for us is, as far as insulation goes, is that it helps prevent the swings from hot to cold. So you'll see that it's actually 31.8 degrees Fahrenheit here. It's 66% humidity. Typically we try to keep this coop below 70% humidity because that's when you could get some frostbite on the girls, maybe waddles, or if they don't tuck their heads, if they don't learn how to tuck. The only way that you could get down the humidity is by providing some cross ventilation. So during night, I usually only have this south window open, and this is open to a covered run. So it gets some airflow, but not quite as much as what you would get from outside. And then I opened up this morning because the humidity was at around 71%. We live in a humid area, so even yesterday the humidity was quite high during the day, but it was also 81% humidity outside. So it's just something to think about. It almost seems counterintuitive that you need to open up the windows in order to drop the humidity, but you just need some of the airflow in.
Yeah, but if you heat the coop, that's where things go wrong, right? Because
Well,
as soon as
yes.
they step outside, you can have condensation happen on.
Exactly. So if you're
On the
heating
bird.
the coop and then they all of a sudden go out to a much cooler run, that could cause a lot of stress on the birds. So you want them to acclimate, and you look at them, they are wearing the best winter coats right now. They have lots of feathers, and the ducks are even hardier than the chickens in the sense that they could withstand even icy waters because the water just falls right off of their feathers. And oftentimes they'll start to puff up and they build kind of that warm air in between their feathers, and they'll also cozy together, which is really good as well.
Speaking of cozy, talk about the floor.
Yeah, the flooring. So we have a concrete floor here, which will come when we talk about predator proofing our coop, which will be a separate episode. But concrete, obviously, if you've ever stepped on it in the winter, is cold. Stones are cold in the winter, of course. So what we did is just built up a lot of this Sanicare, and I use Sanicare as a product, which is right here. And you could use whatever, but I love this because it cleans really easily, and it is quite insulative as well, but you could use pine shavings, you could use hemp bedding, you could use rice hulls, whatever you prefer. But I chose to build it up about 6 to 10 inches in here so that the girls, when they're laying down, they'll be quite warm. I also, in some of the corner areas, because they do like to sit in the corners, I got this in the mail. This is cardboard with like insulated cardboard on the inside, so I have this in the roost box. But I actually also put that in the corners on the floor and put the Sanicare over it. So it's almost like a bedding. And speaking of beddings, we have raised beddings here. So these are just basically dog and cat beds, and I have some more insulation on the bottom. This I even left the pillow in here. And then I built it up with Sanicare and rice hulls. The ducks love sleeping in here. Louisa, the big chicken, sleeps here. The ducks will go back and forth between these, but I've also seen the chickens in there. So if they want that extra insulation, just lifting them up off the floor and providing actually comfortable beds has proven to be really wonderful. Same thing with the nest box. These are also insulated. That works for both the winter and the summer, actually, because again, that insulation, it's just meant to stop with the fluctuations between really cold to warm. I just want to mention that the light that we use here is just a regular LED light. We don't use any kind of a brooder light or anything. That's where, you know, those can explode, and that is where a lot of coop fires start. The only thing that I would say that if I wanted to build in a little bit of warmth, but just a little bit, is that I might actually add, I get grow lights from Soltech Solutions, and I'll put information up about them. They have a dimmable grow light called Vita, which I always remember because that was the name of one of our chickens. And that grow light does get a little warm, and it's also like a nice color, so it's not harsh on the eyes, so it's not like you're putting in a blue or red kind of grow light from the days of yore. And it actually will warm up the area without being as warm as a brooder light. So that is one thing that I thought about, well, if I ever wanted to change this light bulb out and just get it a little bit warmer, maybe like a couple degrees warmer, then that should be fine, because then it doesn't necessarily affect the chickens. And look, while we're in here, it already went up to 32.2
Just
degrees
because of our
Fahrenheit.
body heat, you think?
Probably from the body heat, or maybe it's just warming up outside.
Well, I think like the Soltech solution light, I think they are full spectrum. They replicate kind of sunlight, whereas normal LEDs, well, I think they are also LEDs, but they're different. The normal LEDs, they have certain wavelengths are missing, and it flickers, so.
Yeah, are you interested in this? I'm sure you are. So just to reiterate, we have, this is again on the east side, get beautiful, nice eastern light. This is on the south side, and these are the two that we usually keep open. This is on the west side, and only if the humidity is too high, basically just will open up that, but I usually keep this one closed in the winter. Should I see you guys in the run? Okay. See you in the run.
If you bring warm water.
Yeah, there is warm water in there. We'll move out to the run and you'll see, maybe you won't be able to see, but we have poly panels on this coop. Let's go on the inside so you can see them a little bit better. So we just installed these, and with the exception of, we didn't put anything on the doors yet, but we do have one more poly panel that we could cut to do it, but we made a decision that we wouldn't do it. And we just got these as 3x6s. You could see that they didn't quite cover all the way, but we were fine with that because it just provides a little bit of airflow still. And really we wanted to keep more of the wind off the ground, because that's where most of the chickens and the ducks are. So this is an 1/8 inch poly panel, and it was hard to find these. They don't seem to keep them in stock in the Home Depots and the Lowe's where we are. So we had to go around to like how many, 3 or 4 stores?
Yeah, we spent almost a day just driving between
cities.
3 Lowe's to pick up 13 panels total.
The real benefit of where we are is that we're kind of like the spoke of a wheel. So we and we have all these different little cities around us, and then we could go to each one. But it was a journey. Luckily, we found more than what we needed, and we've screwed them in pretty neatly.
Yeah, so they're spaced maybe about like 10 to 12 inches apart, and you have
roofing screws.
Yeah, roofing screws that have the nylon washers on them.
Yep.
That provides a little cushion, because if you tighten these screws too much, they'll just crack the panel. And
we cracked a little bit of the board, although these are supposed to be obviously stronger than glass, and when they don't shatter like glass, but we're going to have to unscrew them and store them in a specific place because we want to keep these looking good year over year. And see, now they're out. You wanted to join me in the run. Now, one of the things that I do, and I don't have it for the ducks, is that we have an insulated water heater and water pipes coming in, and we'll go out and see that. Everyone's really chatty today. You can see that this is nice and warm. They'll probably go in. Now, I usually I come out and I give them warm water. I'm cheating because I'm giving them their favorite treats. And they will swim in cold water, but I've experienced when I bring out warm water for them, it's just like such a treat. They usually dive right in. Yet today they were a little less agreeable to going into the water.
yeah, so this is the water bar from Carolina COOPs that we purchased, and it has these little nipple things that you can peck, and then water comes out.
Yeah.
It's actually quite warm, and it has a pump to push the water around so it doesn't freeze, and it's on a sensor that will turn the outlet on to the pump when it gets below a certain temperature.
And we'll show you how it's insulated outside.
And we also have it insulated on the way there, so we have an insulated wrap here for around the actual pipes, and it's protected inside a PVC pipe so it doesn't get damaged.
One of the things that folks will do that we haven't done yet is that instead of like these icing over, folks will put in basically a heated dog bowl or a heated bird bath. So you'll see that those actually plug in, but we'll show you, we actually have a heater for our water as well, but it's not a bowl that's actually heated, but that's a common one that folks will do. We haven't done that yet for the ducks. The ducks kind of took me by surprise because I did an impulse rescue with them, and this wasn't really designed for ducks. But you'll also notice that it's actually been 20 degrees Fahrenheit here, which it does get down to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit, although it hasn't been that way in a while. But one of the other things that we've done is built this into the ground. So I could remove this, of course, so I could take the water out. But I partially did that because the ducks need a way to get in and out safely because they're a little bit clumsy. But what this also does, and what I've noticed, is that this has not frozen over since I've gotten it at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty amazing. Not even like a little crust on top of the water, whereas these, which are out, more, even though they're protected somewhat by the poly panels and no cold wind, these will be slightly frozen over. But not badly. Like I could just get like hot water and then basically pour that out on top, and then that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I've also seen videos of people that would dig a hole like a couple feet down and put like a water bowl over it. And then the heat from below, from the ground, will just rise up and like heat the water just enough not to have it freeze.
We've even talked about heating up stones and maybe putting a hot stone in the water, which I think is cool. But you can see that these are outside and these are frozen solid.
Whoa.
So
you can't even crack that.
Well, if I...
Oh, okay.
I'd have to really hit it,
them.
but you could see. It's that cold outside, but inside the run, it's barely making a crust of ice. So Sonder just briefly talked about the insulated water going through this. The ducks are in the water bath now.
Oh, now they're in the water.
So this is all insulated because, not that it's not going to freeze, but we just didn't want to have to heat it as much. And so we use this rock wool insulation, which is really great. It's fireproof, but it's also waterproof as well. So sometimes if you use that kind of pink insulation, that one that feels like cotton candy, that's no good because once it gets wet, it can get really moldy. But this has is basically crushed rock.
This is called Comfort Board 80, I think, and it's 1.5 inches thick, which works perfectly with your 2x4s. And I didn't fasten this in place at all. This just squeezes in there.
Yeah, it's
perfect fit.
It's quite sturdy, and then you can see it's an R6.
It's an R6?
Yeah.
And that just helps on our heating bill because this is a 1,500 watt heater, and it draws quite some juice.
We'll leave a link to that.
Water has a really good ability to hold on to heat. So if you provide a little bit of insulation, then
it goes a long
your
way.
typical water heater has, insulation as well. You can also kind of see the tank from here.
Yeah, and then also
look at the doors insulated.
Look at these insulated pipes as well.
And then we got the insulated sleeves around the actual hoses. These are just washer and dryer hoses. Well, washer hoses really. Yeah, and they just go in the PVC, so they're protected, insulated all the way there. And the water bar itself is not insulated, but we're just doing as much as you can to just help it along a little bit. And I'm sure that in the summer it will keep the water somewhat cool as well.
And I should have mentioned this also in the roost area where we were. You'll see that I have 6 to 10 inches of that Sani Care. Another way to keep the heat in your coop is by doing the deep litter method, and you've probably seen a number of people do that. I prefer not to do that because I like to keep the coop fairly clean. But you need, for the deep litter method, the idea is basically the birds poop, you throw more litter on top of it, the birds poop again, you're creating this lasagna layer of fresh bedding as well as the duck or the chicken poop. But you need to build up at least 12 inches of that for it to start to heat up, because basically what's going to be happening is that the feces is going to be heating up as it's degrading in the coop.
Yeah, it's like a bio.
Are you having a party? Do you want us to come in? But those are basically the different ways that we're insulating the coop, that we're winterizing this coop. And of course, we're gonna learn a lot more as the summer hits. We got this finished basically at the end of fall and the beginning of winter when it started getting cold. So it was important that we had all these strategies and mechanisms in place so that the chickens and the ducks could be comfortable.
I could even see steam rising from the water.
It's like a spa.
Is that because you put hot water in there?
I had put hot water and now it's...
But that's gotten cold over time.
It's basically tepid right now.
Maybe the fog.
They could be. Look at them go. It's hilarious. All right, so that's it. And we'll also go over a separate video on how we've built this coop. We'll link to that. And we're also going to be talking about predator proofing the coop.